Hello, I'm Brent Decker. Today we're going to take a look at the installation process for a segment of the RBB product line by Haworth. RBB is the reside, beside, and belong product, with the reside being the desking portion of the system, the beside being the storage that integrates with it, and the belong, which is the accessories, the screens, the tool rails, and the utilities. Let's go to the studio now and take a look at the beside product. Today we're going to take a look at some of the beside storage, applications, and installation methods. Let's take a look at the tools required. These are some of the common tools used. We have a level, safety glasses, tape measure, power driver, some of the common bits, square drive, Torx 34 mil, two of the drill bits, 1/8 and 3/16, a flex shaft drive, 90-degree drive, hook tool, and of course always refer to the installation instructions if you have any questions. Let's get started. This is a typical base storage unit for beside. It comes in 1 high, 1.5 high, and 2 high, a variety of widths, and it comes with drawers, doors, or open. As far as assembly goes, it will require assembling a top and also the feet on the bottom. Let's take a look at that now. We flip the unit over on its back, and I'm going to install the feet or legs at this time. They come in two different options. They come in the chamfer foot or the straight foot. What we'll do is line these up and go ahead and attach all four with 4 screws into the pre-drilled holes. This is the back of the beside base unit. It does have a cavity here so that power can be retrofitted to it. I'm going to actually put a 3-circuit PDA on, but you could also put either of the 4-circuit PDAs. It's the same PDA that goes on the compose and premise panel system. We're just going to use it in an upside-down manner on here. So I'll start by installing that in the existing slots in the back here. Once we do that, we'll take our keeper screw, put that in place. Now it's a powered cabinet. Once we get another cabinet here, we'll go ahead and take our jumpers to bring the power from one cabinet to the next. Let's take a look at that next. We're going to take a look at the electrical system with the beside storage unit. We use the in, through, and out philosophy. The in is the power coming into the units, and that's done with a typical in-feed or base feed. We've got that coming into the system, through the hole, plugged into the PDA. The through part will take me from cabinet to cabinet. We've got our horizontal jumper in here, goes down through the hole, wraps around the legs, come back up, and then we'll snap that into the PDA to continue power through. The out part of the power, the accessing of it, is done with what we call power taps. They come in multiple lengths. They're vertical or horizontal. It does have the modular connection, so those, like the jumpers, will snap in to come out. Now to mount this, there's multiple ways to do that, and we'll get in a little more to that when we put the top on here. So that concludes the electrical portion. Now that we have the units together and the electrical and utilities run from cabinet to cabinet, we're going to use a ganging bracket or ganging kit. Most of these units are not standalone items and need to be tied to other units depending on your application. On this particular unit, if I had back-to-back storage, the ganging bracket comes with 2 ganging straps. I could screw this into the side, have my other unit to the back, and tag into that so I get my counterbalance here. If it's more of a linear application, I can actually put this in, bend this around, and I'll tag my screw in here, and that ties my units together. Also on the top is where we're going to use a smaller gang bracket. We'll angle that across and tie it into both units. Once I secure these, then I'm ready to go ahead and put my top on and continue on. So I'll finish this in a minute. We are ready to install the optional back, which comes in steel, laminate, or veneer. What we're first going to do is put the brackets on. Once the brackets are installed, we'll take our included pins, put them into the pre-drilled holes, on both sides, and then we'll go ahead and put our back into place. We're to the point where we're going to put the common top over both of these units. If there was nothing integrated as far as electrical or any vertical storage, I could do that now. But I want to show you some of that storage. So before I put this top on, and this is where the sequencing comes in, I have to do some things before I install this. If I don't, I will be taking it back off to make these holes. So you haven't seen it yet, but we've got vertical stanchions and storage, so we'll have some hutches going above here. What I'm going to do, or what you will have to do, in the field, when you get your tops, the holes for all of the standard applications will already be on the bottom of the surface as kind of a built-in template. You need to decide by looking at your drawing which holes need to be drilled through, so when we get to these holes, we can actually take an 1/8 inch drill bit and slowly go through here and bring just the holes you need to the top of the surface. Now I can mount it and all my attachment holes are visible. This is a laminate surface. Keep in mind, if this was a veneered surface, you are probably going to want tape to put over those holes with a good sharp drill bit to slowly go through here so they don't flake any of the veneer. The laminate's a little more durable, but keep that in mind with veneers. So we went ahead and put all the holes that we needed through here. Before we mount this top now, we have to look at what we're going to do electronically as far as accessing our electrical. I've got a whip plugged in here. I actually want to get this, I'm going to put a perpendicular surface going out here, and I want my power out on that surface. How do I get this whip to that? We have our built-in spacer here to block light once our top goes on. We also have a breakaway tab that we can slide through here. That gets my whip. Now when I put that top on, we'll go ahead and show you how that mounts. But at least I've got that part taken care of. Now that I've got my electrical done, I'm going to take pins, put them in these existing holes. What are these for? These are to align up with holes on the worktop. So when I put this on, it actually squares the top onto the cases, so you don't have to worry about, is it square? Is it going to look funny when you've got 6 of these together? So what you'll have to do is line it up with that side. Line it up with those holes. Now it's properly located. I can go inside the cabinets and put my screws through. Let's go ahead and do that now. The top is on a position. I have to get 2 screws into each cabinet. It's in the center. There's holes, and the screw will go through the cabinet, through the metal tube, and into the top. You could remove a shelf and remove a drawer to get in there with your power driver, or for these applications, you might be better off just getting a 90-degree adapter for your drill. So we're going to go ahead and finish attaching the top. Next, we're going to take our stanchion kit, which is basically the vertical pieces to hold the shelf. We're going to mount on top of this. Very important. They are made of metal. There's a lot of different sizes, colors, and there's a lot of options of what you can do, and that's why appropriate, accurate drawings are a must when it comes to this product line. What we are asking as you're installing the other products to keep the stanchion kits boxed, ready to go, staged per office. When it's time to build, that's when I'm going to open them. We even go to the extent of stamping that right on the box. So again, keep that box. When you're ready to install it, bust the straps, take off the stanchion kit, and a complete stanchion kit will be in one box ready to go. So I've already got one opened up. So let's push this aside and go ahead and install ours. So we've got some metal pieces, insides and outsides, and again, refer to your installation instructions. It's going to walk you step by step. This is an end piece. It can go in either direction, but there is a back to it. So I need to know my orientation. Which side is the opening going to? I'm going to install mine like this. So what we're going to do is take wood screws that come in the hardware kit. Remember, we've made our holes earlier on the top. One thing I should mention, what works nice for these is to have a flexible drive. Some of these get to be tight quarters and you cannot get your wrench in there, so it's good to be able to do that. So keep that in mind. Okay, we've got that one on. Now we're going to take our back piece, and again, these can be installed in opposite ways. It's not a handed piece. We want to make sure that these little hooks that engage are flat. If they're flared up, you're going to have problems with them scratching the laminate or scratching the veneer. So make sure those are nice and flat. We're going to take it, nest it into the side panel, and just press fit it into place. The other end, again, because we pre-drilled the holes, we've got one set. We will take our flex wrench and put that on. This is going to be another kit. This is going to be my center dividing wall. So again, with the same wood screw, we'll make sure that lines up. Now you see why the flex drive, that would have been very tough to do with a regular power driver. This end we're going to make go the opposite direction. Again, I need to know that because of the back piece. Now, we have a couple more back pieces. We are now to the point where I have my lower level of stanchion kits on. Before I finish that with the cosmetic covers, I want to get my top on. This is a hutch top. It's 3/4 inch thick, laminate or veneer, smooth and clean on one side. The application hole patterns on the other side, similar to what we had on the worktop. So I'm going to put that on, put in wood screws, just like I did in the bottom to complete this. There is another option if you want to do multiple kits vertically. It's a matter of, again, follow the instructions. You're going to drill through some of these holes so I can actually nut and bolt things together. I'm only doing a single lever, so I'll stick with the wood screws. But let's go ahead and mount this top. You may need a set of hands in here. We now have all of our attachment screws into the top. Now it's going to put on the cosmetic covers. This is our inner stanchion piece. It is a tight fit between the shelf and the top, so be sure you're careful putting this in. Obviously, laminate is a little more durable than veneer, so you must be careful with both. We're going to take this left side, nest it into the shelf end. We're going to push into that corner, push back. Now let it spring back into shape. Now all my hardware is concealed and it's a nice clean look. If you need to take this apart for reconfigurations, what you would do is, it's handy to use a little hook tool, push it this way, allow it to gap here, put your hook tool in, and pull it forward. So we'll go ahead and reinstall that, put that in. Now I need my center cover. Put that in place, and that completes the stanchion kit. I want to show you one more option. You can have multiple colored stanchion kits. Another option is a little more industrial unit that has slots in. This will allow you to install and hang some of the belonged toys and tools and organizational pieces. So that completes the stanchion kit. I've got a convergent top. I've already put my understructure on. You've seen how that's done earlier in the video. I've got a hoop leg on the end. We're just going to mount that onto the flat brackets that we installed earlier. Nest that up there and go ahead and put the screws in. Our top is now attached. Let's make sure and level it if we have to. We're looking good there. Our last step would be take the electrical that we ran earlier. We've got it mounted in the holder, and it's a matter of just screwing this to the surface. We've now attached the receptacles here. Some other options you could have done is we could have integrated the vertical power tap in here. Keep in mind that does add a little bit of time to the installation, so you make that choice. But the whole location is critical, so follow the installation instructions if you're going to go that method. We also could have added some of the belong utility tray, single utility trays below here that would allow more receptacle access. So there are some variations on the electrical of what you can do. Keep in mind also the tool rail and screen from the belong product could be added to this. To recap what we've seen, we've installed 2 of the lower units. We've integrated the electrical into the cabinets. We've run it from cabinet to cabinet. We've put on the common tops and went through the sequencing of the pre-drilling of the holes for some of the vertical pieces to allow some vertical integration of the storage. We have our hutch on. We've got our top on. Everything's buttoned up and pretty. This now concludes the Beside installation video.